वंश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते ताप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु भैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हरे कृष्णा जस्ट वन मोमेंट Hare Krishna. So in this chapter, Krishna is speaking about the practice part of the practitioner. Krishna is talking about two types of yogis or the aspirants. One who is in the practice stage is yoga rurukshu, arukshu, one who is aspiring. And the other is yoga rudha. Rudha means one who has achieved perfection. And how this perfection in this process of Ashtanga Yoga or Dhyan Yoga is to be achieved is by regulating and controlling one's mind and senses. And the main theme is that a practitioner whose mind is under control, the mind becomes his friend. And one who has failed to control the mind remains his foremost enemy. So in the section from verses number 10 to 17, today we will take up to 17. Krishna is talking about the various stages or various practices that the yogi or the aspirant must be observing. Last class we saw which stage was there in the Ashtanga Yoga stage. There are 8 stages: Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, then Pratyahar, Dhyan, Dharana and Samadhi. So anyone remembers in what are the stages that we have discussed last session? What was the stage we discussed? We discussed verses 12, 13 and 14. No, we discussed 13 and 14, I think. Yeah, we discussed 13 and 14. So in this Krishna is, yes, Dayashil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, how the yogi, how should he sit and how he should observe celibacy? All these rules and regulations we discussed.
So it is basically And before Dhyan, it is the asana. He is perfecting on the sitting postures. How he has to sit? He should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in the straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, very important. One is devoid of fear. Prashant Atma, his mind is unagitated and it is controlled, so it is subdued. He is devoid of fear. That is another meaning of whose mind is controlled. That there is no fear. If there is fear in the heart, if one experiences fear, that means the mind is not controlled. Because the uncontrolled mind inflicts the sense of insecurity and fear. And then the mind is pure, is free from material desires and aspiration. The two very important terms used in the last verse, I'll show you the verse on the screen. You can see the verse? Yeah. In the 14th verse, Krishna is saying, Prashantatma Vigat Bhir. So he is Prashantatma. That means the mind is completely under his control, is subdued, is unagitated. And Vigat Bhir means he is freed from all kinds of fear. And he is Brahmachari Vartestitha. That means he takes a vow of celibacy. That means the sex desire does not disturb him. And very importantly, then he says, Mana Sanyamya Machitto. Mana Sanyamya means that the mind is completely controlled. And when the mind is controlled, it can Machitto. Machitto is Krishna saying upon me. That it can focus on me, it can think about. Most of the time we are struggling. Why we are struggling? Because we are not in the state of Prashant Atma Vigat Bhi, or neither we are Brahmachari Vratestita. So Mana Sanyamya Machitto is to meditate upon me. And Yuktasit Matparaha. Yuktasit Matpara is that para means the goal or the final destination. So a yogi should make me the goal. The yogi should think about me and make me the goal to achieve. So that is what Krishna has recommended for this practitioner, for the yogi. And so the goal is set. What is the goal? The goal is to achieve Krishna. So now, in today's verse, which is the 15th verse, Krishna will speak about how one achieves the goal. How he achieves the goal. This is very important verse. Or what is the result of one who is Prashantatma Vigatabhi and one is Mana Sanyamya Matchitta Yuktasit Matpara. This is verse number 15. Yunjaneva sadatmanam yogi niyat manasa shantim nirvan paramam mat samstham adhigacchati. So Yunjaneva sadatmanam. So Yunjan means one who is practicing. How he is practicing? Evam, as it has been prescribed. How? What Krishna has prescribed. And Sadatmanam means who is constantly practice. That means without any gaps, without any intervals, without any cessation. And what is he practicing? He is practicing to control what? Atmanam. Atmanam here is both body, mind and soul. So such a yogi is Niyata Manasa. His mind, Manasa means the mind, is always Niyata. Niyat means it is regulated. It is disciplined. So one who has come to this stage of yogi niyat manasaha, who is constantly following the regulation, the do's and don'ts. So he is able to come to this stage of yogi niyat manasa. His mind is always controlled. And in this state, what he achieves? Shantim. So what is the result? Or what is the outcome of such a practice? That he experiences unlimited peace. Shanti Nirvana Paramam. So first result is that he achieves peace of mind. Second is Nirvana Paramam. That he is no longer interested in any material activities that will bind him. So he is karma free and he is anxiety free. Shantim is there is no more anxiety. There is nothing which troubles or agitates his mind. And Nirvana Paramam means that his mind, his desire, his aspiration is free from any material activity. So these are the two results, and this is not all. Then he says, Mat samsthamadi gacchati. And in the end, such a yogi or such a practitioner will achieve the spiritual sky. Mat samsthan. Mat is Krishna samsthan. What is Krishna samsthan? This is spiritual world. So he will come to the spiritual sky. Thus practicing constant control of the body, mind and activities. This is Yunjaneva Sadatmanam. Yogi Niyata Manasa. The mystic transcendentalist is mind regulated. Attains to the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. And of course, he achieves Shanti. He achieves peace. Clear? Is the verse clear now? So this is the level of practice if one has come to this stage of such regulation and such discipline. So he reaps the benefit of Shanti Nirvana Paramam and Mat Samsam Adhigachati. Clear? If there is any doubt or anything remaining, please ask. Then I'll go to the purport. We will discuss the purport. And very interestingly, next Krishna will speak how to come to this stage. How to come to always be in the stage where the mind is always peaceful. Shantim Nirvana Param. So how one can achieve the Shanti is by Nirvana Paramam, by cessation of all material activities. That means no more action and no more counteraction. Is free. Okay, let's proceed. The ultimate goal in practicing yoga is now clearly explained. What is the goal? The goal is to achieve the spiritual sky. Yoga practice is not meant for attaining any kind of material facility. So this is the misconception or the myth that people have. Yoga practice is not meant for attaining any kind of material facility. What people understand by practice of yoga? What do general people have? The conception of yoga? I'm asking all of you, you can contribute. We have National Yoga Day or International Yoga Day. People, I see, I go for a walk every day in the morning. I go for long hours of walk, 1 hour to at least 1.5 hours. So I see people bringing their mats, their exercise mats, and coming to the park and performing their own style of yoga. Yes, Ravindra Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, only to
A little louder, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, only to keep their body fit.
Yes. Yoga means physical fitness. Only one aspect of yoga. This has nothing to do with yoga. It is physical fitness. But that is not yoga. Because physical fitness means it pertains only to body. And body is what? Temporary. It is material. It will take birth and certainly it will perish. So Prabhupada explains that the goal of yoga practice is not meant for attaining any kind of material facility. So what is the goal of yoga practice? If it is not for attaining the material facility, what is the goal of yoga practice? Bole? What is the goal of yoga practice? Yes, Ramya?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, to connect with the Supreme.
Not only to connect with the Supreme, to attain Shanti Nirvana Paramam and Mat Samstham Adhigachati. If that goal is not achieved, one is not performing yoga. If somebody says that he is taking delicious food, and he says, my hunger is not over, then how can he say that he has had food? So, when if he is having food, that means tushti, pushti, shuddhapaina. He should be nourished and he should be satisfied. His shuddha should be apaina. He should be free from hunger. So, similarly, the purpose of performing yoga is to attain to the spiritual platform, to come to the transcendental platform. So, how this yoga practice helps, this is what we will discuss today. And why Krishna is recommending it here. It is to enable the cessation of all material existence. This is the second aspect. First is to achieve the spiritual platform, and the other is the obvious thing is to enable the cessation of material. That means no more karmic actions or reactions. One who seeks improvement in health, Prabhupada is mentioning, or aspire after material perfection is no yogi according to Bhagavad Gita. Who is he? Either people are doing those who are rogis, those who have some health problem, those who have some disease. So they are trying to practice this process of so-called yoga, which is not a yoga. According to Bhagavad Gita, it is not a yoga. Or others are doing because they want to have more bhog. They want to enjoy more. The means of enjoyment is to have a fit body. So they perform this kind of exercises, breathing exercises, or physical exercises. Why? To keep the body fit and healthy so that they can enjoy through the body. But according to Bhagavad Gita, it is not yoga. It is only bhoga, or it is for those who are rogis or roga. Nor does cessation of material existence entails one entering into the void. So here clearly it is mentioned that where one will go, Krishna is saying, Mat samstham adhigachati. He will come to my kingdom, to my planet, to my spiritual abode. So Prabhupada is saying, neither the yoga helps one for improvement in health or for material perfection, nor does cessation of material existence until one's entering into the void. So where one has to enter? One has to enter into the spiritual sky, which is only a myth. There is no void anywhere within the creation of the Lord. Anyone can answer, can support this statement. Prabhupada is giving a big statement that there is no void anywhere within the creation of the Lord. Understand what is void? Void means that there is no activity, there is no person. It is completely vacuum or free. So Prabhupada says that there is no void anywhere in this creation. There is no void within the creation of the Lord. Is there a place which is outside the creation of the Lord? Is there any area, any territory, any land which is earmarked, that which is outside the creation of the Lord? Is it so? Yes, no? Pradeep? Hare Krishna. What are the places which is outside the creation of the Supreme Lord? Bolo, why you are taking so long?
I don't know, Prabhuji.
Huh? Did anyone hear? What did he say?
I don't know the answer.
Pranav, what is your view?
Yes, Prabhuji, there is no places, Prabhuji, outside the creation of the Lord. Everything is
He's
created by the
saying,
Supreme Lord.
he's saying he does not know the answer. How can there be any place which is outside the creation of the Lord? And here, Prabhupada is saying that there is no void within the creation of the Lord. So that means, and where is that evidence or where is that proof that there is no void in the creation of the Lord? Krishna gives that in Bhagavad Gita itself. That there is, in every part of his creation, there is no possibility of void. Why? Because Krishna has created beings. So how can there be void? In every part of Krishna's creation, there are the living entities. There is no place which is void. There is the living entities. They may be in either of the 8,400,000 species of life. Anyone knows the verse? Krishna confirms this. So see, please see what misconceptions people have, so-called jnanis or scholars. So Prabhupada is refuting that. Very vehemently he is opposing it. Where is the verse where Krishna says that there is no place in the world which is devoid of living entities? None of you remember. It is from the 2nd chapter. Yes, there is.
Prabhuji, total verse I do not remember, but in second chapter, Lord Krishna speak about Sarvagata. That Sarvagata means everywhere there is living entity.
Very good. Yes.
In every planet, everywhere. Thank you.
In every planet, in every part of the creation. In every part of the creation. He says, Nityam Sarvagata Sthanam Achaloyam Sanatan. You see 2.24. Manoram Prabhu, show the verse. 2nd chapter and 24th verse. You see in the translation, it is clear itself. It is very evident. Yeah, see. So when Krishna is explaining about the soul, so he says that he is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. So what is the quality of the and the characteristic of the soul? That he is present everywhere. Come down to the purport. I'll show you the last paragraph. Come down. Yeah. The word Sarvagata, all pervading, is significant because there is no doubt that living entities are all over God's creation. There is no space or place which is outside God's creation. In every space and place of God's creation, there are living entities. So Prabhupada says there is no doubt that the living entities are all over God's creation. They live on the land, in the water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable, because it is clearly stated that the soul cannot be burned by fire. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. If the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word Sarvagata, living everywhere, becomes meaningless. Clear, very clear. So there is nothing called void in this entire creation, because Krishna has injected the living entities everywhere. Rather the cessation, okay, so I'll show where we are reading. So there is no void anywhere within the creation of the Lord. Rather, the cessation of material existence enables us to enter into the spiritual sky. So this is the principle. When one gives up material activity, that means one gives up the fruitive work, karma, or even sakam karma. He gives up the sakam karma or even the nishkam karma. That there is no material activity. There is only one transcendental activity. What is that transcendental activity? He renders service to the Supreme Lord. One enters into the spiritual sky, the abode of the Lord. The abode of the Lord is also clearly described in Bhagavad Gita, is that place where there is no need of sun, moon, or electricity. So that is, we will see in the 15th chapter, Krishna says that. Anyone remembers the verse? 15th chapter verse. Na tad bhasyate suryo, na shashanko, na pavaka, yad gatvana nivartante, tadhavam paramam mama. It is 15.7, if I remember. It's not 15.7. It is 15.6. 15.6. So the spiritual sky, it is self-illuminated. It is self-effulgent. So there is no need for having any external means to illuminate it. You will see this material world, it is always dark. It requires illumination. Either the illumination will come from the sun, moon, and stars, or it will come from the electricity. So all the planets in the spiritual kingdom are self-illuminated, like the sun is the material sky. The kingdom of God is everywhere. But the spiritual sky and the planets thereof are called Param Dhama, or superior abodes. So here, interestingly, Krishna is giving the goal of yoga is to concentrate upon him by his subdued and controlled mind, to think about Krishna and ultimately achieve Krishna. By after leaving this body, quitting this body, one comes to the spiritual sky or the superior abode. A consummate yogi who is perfect in understanding Lord Krishna, as is clearly stated herein by the Lord himself, mat chita, mat para, mat sthanam. Very good. So mat chita and mat para is coming from the previous verses. Who will explain these three terms, mat chita, mat para, and mat sthanam? Don't just give me the word meaning from the book. You explain the concept of these three words, what it means. Mat chita, mat param, and mat sthanam. Boliye, please contribute. You should interact. It is not just I just speak and leave. You should get the understanding also of what the Supreme Lord is speaking and what he wants from us. He wants these three things from us. Mat chita, mat para, and mat sthanam. Is that clear? So what is mat chita, and what is Mat Para and what is Mat Sthanam. We discussed this even today. So it will be, a source of reminder to us or revision for us. Bolliye? Explain what is Mat Chitta. Manoram, what is Mat Chitta? What is the understanding of Mat Chitta?
Prabhuji, putting the thought process towards the Supreme Lord means thinking about the Supreme Lord.
Yeah. That means not thinking about anything else. Not thinking about self-aggrandizement or sense gratification. Thinking about how to please the Lord, how to serve the Lord. Very good. This is Mat Chitta. And what is Mat Parama? Please answer why I have to ask so many times. To speak.
Mat Paraha means.
Wait. You have already answered. Let others also contribute. What is Mat Parama? Mat Para. Mat Para. The problem is if we are not having Mat Para, we are not Mat Para. Yes, Ravindra bro or Priyanka.
Matparam means Prabhuji, in relation to me, unto me. Service to unto me.
Come again. Mat Para means
Matparam means service to the Supreme. Unto me. Supreme Lord says service unto me.
no. That is already covered in Mat Chitta. What is Mat Para? Pranab, what is Mat Para? His video went off. Bolo, it is so simple, it is so obvious. What is मत परा अभी हमने एक्सप्लेन किया लास्ट टाइम भी लास्ट क्लास में भी इतना चर्चा किया था where is where is your chitta? The chitta is somewhere else. Yeah, Pranab, you did not answer. What is mat para?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Matpara means to make Supreme Lord Krishna as the ultimate goal,
Yes.
become dependent on him.
To make Krishna as our goal. All activities in life are directed to achieve that goal. To make Krishna as our goal. This is Mat Chitta, Mat Param, and what is Mat Sthanam? Mat Sthanam is very clear. What is Mat Sthanam? Boliye Ravinder, what is Mat Sthanam? Ravinder bro, what is Mat Sthanam? If you take so much of time, then how we will cover? Where is the participation?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, the abode of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah, spiritual sky.
Yes, spiritual.
That means one who has ceased material existence, that means he cannot have material body. So where he will be? He will be in the spiritual sky. He will have spiritual existence, no material existence. It is already terminated. It is freed. So it is clearly stated here by the Lord himself, Matchita, Matpara, Matsthanam, can attain real peace and can ultimately reach his supreme abode, Krishna Lok, known as Golok Vrindavan. In the Brahma Samhita 5.37, it is clearly stated, Golok eva nivasati akhilatma bhuta. The Lord, although residing always in his abode, called Golok, is all pervading. Brahman and the localized Paramatma, as well as by the dint of his superior spiritual energies. So the Supreme Lord, in his personal form, he is always residing in the spiritual abode, the topmost spiritual abode, which is the Golok. And in his all-pervading form, he is there as Paramatma and also as Brahman, as his energies. No one can reach the spiritual sky Vaikuntha or enter into the Lord's abode, Golok Vrindavan, without the proper understanding of Krishna and his plenary expansions. Very important. Prabhupada is mentioning here that no one can reach the spiritual sky Vaikuntha or enter into the Lord's eternal abode, Golok Vrindavan, without the proper understanding of Krishna and his plenary expansion, Vishnu. So how much this Tattva Gyan is essential, without which one will not receive. You will not have the opportunity to be freed from this material world. Therefore, a person working in Krishna consciousness is the perfect yogi because his mind is always absorbed in Krishna's activity. Save mana Krishna pada ravindeo. In the Vedas also, Shveta Upanishad, we learn that tam eva viditvati mrityum iti. One can overcome the path of birth and death only by understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. In other words, perfection of the yoga system is the attainment of freedom from material existence and not some magical jugglery of gymnastic feast to be befool innocent persons. So this is the proper understanding of who one is performing yoga. So in their practice, what are the process and also what is the result or what is the reward of practicing yoga. So both of it is very nicely explained in this 15th verse. What are the benefits of one who is in performing yoga? What are the benefits to him? We said we are discussing both the benefits and also the limitations. So next, Krishna will explain that how one can come to this stage of constantly meditating on Krishna. Yogi niyat manasa, one who is always thinking about Krishna, or yogi is able to meditate about Krishna. How difficult it is in our practice. How many times do we generally remember Krishna? How many times the thought or our mind takes us to Krishna? It takes us always away from Krishna, not towards Krishna. So further Krishna is explaining that how one can achieve success, what one has to practice and what one has to regulate. Very interesting. This is the next two verses are exactly on this. नाति अश्नतस्तु योगी अस्ति न चैकान्तम् अनश्नत न चाति स्वरूपशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन. The Krishna continues to enlighten. He says, of course, he said that the yogi is one who is Shanti Brahma Nirvanam, Matsthanam Adhigacchati, is Niyatatma, is Junjaneva Sadatmanam. But what makes him to come to this level of control of his mind and his senses? So Krishna is giving the recommendation that how one has to practice. There is no possibility of anyone becoming a yogi or Arjuna if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep at all. So there will always be two types of classes of people. Those who will be following the Shastras, they will be called as the divine. And those who will be denying the Shastra, they will be called as the demoniac. So very importantly, Krishna is speaking about the regulation which one has to practice. And what is the first regulation, he says, is of diet. One who eats too much or eats too little. Regulation of diet and sleep is recommended herein for the yogis. So for every yogi, those who want to excel in practice, those who want to connect with the Supreme Lord, what one has to learn? One has to learn how to regulate his diet and also his sleep. Too much eating means eating more than required to keep the body and soul together. So in the spiritual practice, what a practitioner has to do, although he may be very foodie, one moment. Foodie, you understand? One who is very much inclined to eat much. There are two types of people. Many times we have discussed. One who live to eat, whose goal is not much sthanam. Their goal is to have good food and enjoy. Their sthanam is restaurants and food courts. Their sthanam is not spiritual spot. They don't have that aspiration. They're always looking कौन सा नया रेस्टोरेंट खुला है, क्या नया आइटम बन रहा है. They're always asking, आज क्या बना रहे हो? The husband will ask the wife, or the wife will say, आज क्या नया लेके आ रहे हो? So most of the people in this world, they are obsessed with this idea that खाओ पियो and मौज करो. So people live to eat, but that is not a yogi. Yogi cannot do that. Yogi is, Krishna is saying, one who does not eat too much. The first thing to regulate, you see, the first thing Krishna is telling to regulate is one's eating. So, too much eating means eating more than is required to keep the body and soul together. So the problems of the fruit prices, fruit grains prices escalating can be solved if this principle is adopted. That too much eating means eating more than is required to keep the body and soul together. There is no need for men to eat animals because there is an ample supply of grains, vegetables, fruits, and milk. Such simple foodstuff is considered to be in the mode of goodness, according to Bhagavad Gita. So one should eat only those items which increase the duration of life and which is free from the poisonous effect of all these spices. Prabhupada says there is no need for men to eat animals because there is ample supply of grains, vegetables, fruits, and milk. Such simple food is considered to be in the mode of goodness according to Bhagavad Gita. Animal food is for those in the mode of ignorance. Therefore, those who indulge in animal food, drinking and smoking and eating food which is not first offered to Krishna, will suffer sinful reactions because they eating only polluted things. Bhunjate te tva agham papam ye pachanti atma karana. This is from the 3rd chapter. Anyone remember the full verse? Important verse. Krishna is saying that the one who does not offer what he receives from Krishna and is not thankful, and if he is devouring or is eating more than required. Anyone remember this verse? Such person is performing sinful act. Animal food is for those in the mode of ignorance. So one who is always taking prasad, regulated food, with discipline and good level of practice, they are willing to come. Therefore, those who indulge in animal food, drinking and smoking and eating food, which is not first offered to Krishna, will suffer the sinful reaction because of eating only polluted things. Drinking and smoking and eating food, which is not first offered to Krishna, will suffer sinful reactions. Okay. Because of eating only polluted things. Bhunjate te tvagham papam ye pachanti atma karanat. Anyone who eats for sense pleasure or cooks for himself, not offering his food to Krishna, eats only sins. One who eats sin and eats more than is allotted to him cannot execute perfect yoga. It is better that one eat only the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. A person in Krishna consciousness does not eat anything which is not first offered to Krishna. Therefore, only the Krishna conscious person can attain perfection of in yoga practice. Nor one who is artificially abstaining from eating, manufacturing his personal process of fasting, practice yoga. The Krishna conscious person observes fasting as it is recommended in the scripture. This is very important. So how much one has to eat, when one has to eat, what one has to eat, everything is mentioned. It is mentioned in the scriptures. When we will come to the 17th chapter, Krishna will speak about it. That all food is categorized in 3 modes. So what the regulation does, or what the system of control does, that it brings everyone become responsible. And there is reporting also, at least of this 1 month reporting is there. So here it is said that one has to eat as it is recommended in the scriptures. He does not fast or eat more than is required. So it is not that he decides on his own. Someday he will eat too much, the other day he will not eat at all. Not like this. And he is thus competent to perform yoga practice. So the first qualification or the first prerequisite is that one must have regulated his eating. And then it also says one must have regulated his actions or his activities. One should not sleep more than 6 hours daily. This is another aspect of regulation. This is what the verse is speaking. Na chati swapna shilasya jagrata neva charjuna. One who sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. So both are not the candidates for yoga practice. So Prabhupada is recommending that one should not sleep more than 6 hours daily. Let us have some discussion on this. How many of you feel that your average, monthly average of sleep, day and night altogether, is less than 6 hours? Please raise your hand. No one? Everyone is sleeping 6 hours? Sure? Yes, no? कुछ तो बोलो, सो रहे हो नहीं सो रहे हो या ज्यादा सो रहे हो? No one is raising his hand. They are sleeping more than 6 hours. So I should ask this question. How many of you are sleeping more than 6 hours? This is the right question to ask. Be honest. See what an audience. Who are sleeping less than 6 hours? None. Those who are sleeping more than 6 hours? None. One who sleeps more than 6 hours out of 24 hours is certainly influenced by the mode of ignorance. This tamoguni. A person in the mode of ignorance is lazy and prone to sleep a great deal. Such a person cannot perform yoga. So we'll take the next verse also. So Krishna is recommending here that one has to have a balanced diet. It is said that one should fill the stomach 50% with food, 25% with water, and 25% should remain empty so that the air can circulate and pass. This is the ideal principle. One should eat 50% as food, 25% he should fill with water, and 25% should leave vacant. Then there will never be any problem of indigestion or diseases related to one's liver. Okay? And one should not sleep more than 6 hours. At our level, we should also sleep 6 hours. That means one should be taking an average sleep of 6 hours. Try to regulate the very powerful way that Krishna is recommending how to come to that stage. The 17th verse, the last verse in this section of practicing, Krishna is recommending what one has to do. Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasa karmashu yukta swapna bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pangs by practice of the yoga system. Yukta har. First thing is one who is regulated is eating. Ahar is regulated. Then yukta chestasa karmasya. That means he is not into excess of anything. Neither in eating, neither in sleeping, nor recreation. And such a person is actually a yogi. And he can terminate all sufferings coming from the material existence. Extravagance in the matter of eating, sleeping, depending, and mating, which are demands of the body, can block advancement in the practice of yoga. Why? Why extravagance in the matter of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating block advancement in the practice of yoga? Prabhupada will further speak even in Krishna consciousness. No one is answering. No one wants to answer that why these bodily demands can block the advancement in practice of yoga. As far as eating is concerned, it can be regulated only when one is practiced to take and accept prasad. This is the first and foremost regulation. That one should eat only if it is prasad. If it is not prasad, one should not eat. So this is where the regulation begins. Lord Krishna is offered according to Bhagavad Gita 9:26 vegetables, flowers, fruits, grain, milk, etc. In this way, a person in Krishna consciousness becomes automatically trained not to accept food not meant for human consumption or not in the category of goodness. So, food is to be accepted only which will keep us in the mode of goodness, minimum in the mode of goodness. As far as sleep is concerned, a Krishna conscious person is always alert in the discharging of his duties in Krishna consciousness. And therefore, any unnecessary time spent sleeping is considered a great loss. Avyarth kalatvam. A sleeping is kept to a minimum. His ideal in this respect is Srila Rupa Goswami, who was always engaged in the service of Krishna and could not sleep more than 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day. And sometimes not even that. Thakur Haridas would not even accept prasadam, nor even sleep for a moment without finishing his daily routine of daily chanting with his beads 300,000 times. As far as work is concerned, a Krishna conscious person does not do anything which is not connected with Krishna's interest. And thus his work is also regulated and is untainted by sense gratification. Since there is no question of sense gratification, there is no material leisure. But there is no material misery for him. Hare Krishna. So I'll stop here. So Krishna is recommending that with the controlled mind and senses, you try to focus upon me, mat chitta, mat parama, make me my goal, and mat sthanam. You come to me in my spiritual abode. And here in this section, Krishna is also recommending how to begin the practice is by yukta hara viharasya. Not eating too much. Also not sleeping too much. In my personal experience, I have for almost 20 years now. I came in 2003, so this is more than 20 years. That if your eating becomes regulated, your sleep also becomes regulated. Otherwise, you may try whatever. If the eating is not regulated, the sleep will not be regulated. And everyone struggles in sleeping, not able to wake up in time. Why? Because too much of eating is there. Hare Krishna. I'll stop here. If there is any question or discussion, please ask. From 18th, there will be the Yoga Rudha stage, the perfection stage of Ashtanga. That will be from the next session. Yes. Jai Shri Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, here it is written that one should eat too much eating means, sorry, it is in verse number 16
Yeah.
in purport. And the second line, too much eating means eating more than is required to keep the body and soul together.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Can you comment on this?
Very simple. Body and soul together is what? Why people eat? Because if they don't eat, they cannot continue to live. So eating only to the extent one can keep the body and soul together. Let the body exist. The body and soul together means that keeping the. How much do you give petrol to your car or to your bike? How much? A simple question. How much petrol do you give to your, you have a two-wheeler, na? How much do you
Yes,
put
Prabhuji.
petrol?
I put Prabhuji, I don't remember how much is the capacity, but I put once in 3 liter at a time, 3 liter.
3 liter, right? Because 3 liter is sufficient for you to move in this campus. And how much is the capacity of the tank? Why you are asking others? Don't you know? It is more than 3 liters, yes or no?
More than 3 liter, Prabhuji, more than 3 liter.
How much more? At least 5 liters, 6 liters can come. Why do
Yes,
you put
Prabhuji.
only 3 liters? Because what is required for you to go to
It
the
may not
destination?
spill. It may not spill. Actually, it may not spill also.
Are please hear the basic principle, the basic logic. You know it, but we don't accept it. We are so foolish and we are so absorbed and we are so much, the slaves of our tongue. So you don't fill. Why don't you fill? Because 3 liters is sufficient for you to do your job. To the extent you have to travel, 3 liters will suffice. Don't close your video. Why you have closed your video? Are you hearing or not?
Hearing, Prabhuji.
So this basic thing, I am giving you one example to relate. If you have put 3 liters, your work is done. You don't have to think that if the capacity is 10 liters, let me fill first 10. But are you doing the same with your eating?
No, Prabhuji, but I also experienced that sometime while eating, that we know that now it is sufficient. I should not eat more. But because of uncontrol, we again start eating.
That is, the yogi means one who is learned to control the urges. That is the other, what is the important aspect? Please understand. We have not understood this verse. The most important aspect is that he has terminated the material existence. How the termination of the material existence is there? When he is not in the enjoying mood. When he is not in trying to enjoy the food. That is, he is not engaged in any sense gratification. So how to do that? It's simple. First thing Prabhupada is recommending, practical aspect. It must be discussed. We must apply it. The first thing and the foremost thing is to take only prasad. If it is not prasad, don't take it. Leave it. So what will be there? There will be some regulation. That we will only take prasad, Krishna prasad. Prabhupada mentions that. Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport. First and the foremost thing is that it must be prasad. And then it should not be that if it is prasad, then I can eat as much as I like. Then it is no longer prasad. Because the consciousness of prasad is not there. So we should be regulated. So many times I have given example. For animals, is there any regulation? As many times they will pass the stool and as many times they will eat. And what the humans are doing? They're doing the same things. So we should have regulation that we should eat 3 times, not more than 3 times in a day. 3 times is more than sufficient. Not eat more than 3 times. Breakfast, lunch and dinner, finish. Not that whatever comes, whenever comes, kuch bhi hai khate raho. That is not body and soul together. That is abusing the body, abusing the digestive system. Okay, and as I said, the principle, Acharya's gave, it is also there in the Patanjali Yoga Shastra. This half food, half water, 1/4 water, and 1/4 should be empty. At least this level should be empty. I know one devotee is very, very strong in his regulation. He just does not eat. You give him whatever. Mahaprasadam from here, from there, from whatever. He will honor it by his gesture and say no. Every day wakes up at 2:30. Every day, 365 days, 2:30 wake up. 16 rounds completed every day before 4:30. Chanting is a joy for him. He does not chant less than 32 or rounds every day. It is even more. He does not disclose that. But seeing his regulation, by seeing his consistency, I can say clearly. And in our practice, we are having so much of difficulty. Most of the people are mentioning 4:30. Pradeep, you are not sending your sadhana report for many days. Are you sending?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Huh? Pradeep, I am asking Pradeep, where is he? The only way to come to mode of goodness is by regulation, by strict regulation. Regulation is only possible for one who is in mode of goodness. In mode of passion, it is never possible. It will always change. One day he may be able to do, 2 days he may be able to do, 10 days he may be able to do, again he will come back, he will fall down. So if you don't apply regulation, then we live in the lower modes of passion and ignorance. So where is the question of ceasing material existence? Where is the question of achieving or experiencing any peace? Where is the possibility of becoming mat chitta or mat para? No question of mat param or mat sthanam. So it begins by Krishna is saying, yukta har. First thing is regulate your eating. Then vihar. What is vihar? Is your creation, recreation. Yukta har viharasya. And yukta chestasa. Chestasa means one's endeavors and actions. Not working like donkeys, 16 hours, 18 hours, 12 hours. No need. Human race is not meant to be like a donkey. They have no brains. 6 to 8 hours of job should be sufficient. So that is yukta karmasu, who is regulated in his actions. Such a person is yogi bhavata dukkha. So dukkha means that ha means to terminate. So what he terminates in his life? Dukkha. Dukkha is gone. Then what is there? Only sukha. That will come in the next verses. So how to be free from all kinds of suffering and all kinds of distress is by living a regulated life. Simple. And those who cannot have regulation, that means what? Animal life. Animal life has no regulation. So the modern generation is fast running to become an animal. Why? Because in their life they have no discipline, no regulation. And they are thinking they are advancing. Advancing where? To become an animal. So how to begin? Krishna is giving the step-by-step guidance. Yukta har. Regulate your eating. Regulate your sleeping. Regulate your activity. Yukta karma cheshtasu. And yogi is dukkha. There is no suffering for him. For Krishna conscious person, there is nothing called suffering. He always experiences joy. Where is the question of suffering? Suffering means that he is not Krishna conscious. Okay? So what it means to keep body and soul together is to regulate and eat only half of what is required. It may not be done abruptly. What you can do, if you are eating 4 times, try to regulate to make it 3 times. And when you are eating 3 times, just see how much you are eating. It should not be more than what is required. ये नहीं कि अच्छा है तो खाते जाओ. Then again, the propensity is not of regulation, then that means one is unregulated. Okay. Anyone else?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very important. There should be some deliberation. Otherwise, this dull mind, this dull head, nothing will catch. We'll remain the same. And what we will apply if we are not convinced?
Prabhuji, if you permit, I can ask second question if anybody is
No.
not.
Why not? Please ask.
Prabhuji, regarding sleeping, you told 6 hour one should maximum sleep, Prabhuji, or sometimes if required.
For one who is a yogi, for him it is 6 hours maximum. But one who is not a yogi, who is a rogi or who is a bhogi, what he should do? He should try to come to near to 6 hours. If anyone is sleeping 8 hours or more, then definitely he is in the mode of ignorance. Prabhupada is mentioning that. If somebody is eating, you see people, most of the students, what is their sleep cycle? Not less than 8 hours. And why you require 8 hours? Have you done physical work? Have you carried load on your head and shoulder? What have you done? You are doing only intellectual work. Why does the body require so much of rest? Most of the time, what is the work? Is mobile work. Everybody is playing mobile and then sleeping. They are dreaming. In the mobile, whatever nonsense they are seeing, they are thinking that they will become that. And sleeping. And in the sleep, they are having that swapna, dreamy state. So if you regulate your eating, you will regulate your sleeping. Without regulating your eating, you can never regulate your sleeping. You try whatever. And those who want to wake up, they should not eat after sunset. I don't eat. You've seen so many times I come to your IRA. Do I eat ever? Hardly eat. I never eat. Because if I eat, then I am compromising on my wake up. If you have stuffed your body with food, all the energy it will take up in digesting the food. And morning, what will be there? Tie fish. You cannot wake up. If you have eaten twice in a day, it is more than required. It is more than sufficient. Most of the disease is due to overeating, not due to less eating. Why people are becoming fat, obese? What is this showing? Indians are becoming so fat. So many heart diseases are there. Why so much cholesterol is there? Due to less eating? Is it due to less eating? Or is it due to overeating? You see how much Krishna is giving guidance here in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada is saying avyart kalatvam. Prabhupada talks about the term avyart kalatvam. That a Krishna conscious person cannot bear to pass a minute of his life without being engaged in the service of the Lord. Therefore, his sleeping is kept to minimum. And the ideal in this aspect is Srila Rupa Goswami. He did not sleep even for more than 2 hours. But we cannot do that. We cannot imitate. But we should not sleep more than 7 hours at all. If anyone is sleeping more than 7 hours, then definitely he is in the mode of ignorance. Prabhupada says 6 hours. And as your practice will become steady, as you will become a yogi, yogi means who has controlled his mind and senses, means what? He has controlled his body. Not that he is controlled by the body and mind. So, Krishna, the first thing Krishna is saying, Yukta har viharaste, Yukta chestasya karmasu, Yukta swapna bodhasya, yogi bhavati tukkaha. One who has regulated these 4 things of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. This is the yoga system Krishna is giving. Another goal of yoga system is to mitigate all pains. Then it is yoga. Yogi bhavati dukkha. Okay, I'll stop now. Okay. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीपाद रामानुजाचार्य आविर्भाव तिथि महामहोत्सव की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंद, हरि हरि हरे कृष्ण।